Bitcoin is at a phenomenally important price level with this market right now. I want to show you the meaning of this red line and this red box right here in this YouTube video. So if you're excited for it, do me a favor and smash the likes up as you are coming in. We've seen some phenomenal setups in this market, with everything that's been going on here. And we've seen the market find a really big bounce off this price level here. A lot of people are starting to wonder if we're going to be able to get up into those mid 60K ranges now. And I actually think that the possibilities of that happening are pretty good. So I want to show you why in this YouTube video, but still also show you why we're really not out of the woods here. There's still a lot that could go wrong in this market. And I just want to break all of that down for you in this video. So the first thing to take into account is that Bitcoin did, after swinging right below this low, we'll come back to this in just a second, did end up getting a nice big rise up here of about 4 or 5%, right? Which is good. It's nothing crazy, but it's certainly not small, especially considering the kind of range that we're in. And it did put Bitcoin into this absolutely critical red box with this red line right here. And what this actually represents is this pre-existing sideways range that Bitcoin has been finding support and resistance in. If you guys will remember one of my previous videos, I actually had a very important red line right up over here. It's actually ever so slightly higher. It might be on a different chart already, actually. Let's go ahead and take a look if I can find it, because I'm curious. Yeah, it's right here. I had this red line drawn. And I was saying that this is kind of like the point that Bitcoin hasn't been able to overcome, where if Bitcoin can get above it, it's probably going to go significantly higher. And we haven't actually gotten above that line just yet, even with this recent wick, which I'll talk to you about today. Which is definitely very, very interesting. But if we bring it back to this chart and really, kind of talk about what this particular zone means, if at this red line, what we have is a very interesting fixed range volume profile that I can draw for you guys, stretching from this zone at about 50K to where we are now. And it paints a beautiful volume point of control right where I've put my red line over here. And that's actually why I put the red line here. It's actually slightly in the wrong place. It should be down there. And that basically lines up with the biggest spike that we've got on this VPVR right here, which I think is very important to be taking into account at this stage, because it shows us that this is where the most resistance is on the chart. I think that this is now potentially the most important level on the whole chart, because if we are able to get above it, that probably means we should have a very easy rise up to that key $67,000 price range. And what does the red box mean? Well, the red box is simply the end of this spike, right? You can see the spike really starts to get crazy at about 62,500, and it starts to kind of settle down above 64K. So that's literally the main range that this box covers, showing us that this is the most important zone of resistance that Bitcoin has right now on its chart at present. So a very, very important price level for me in particular, because as far as I'm concerned, if Bitcoin is still in this box or below it, it's in a pretty dangerous zone where we're probably more poised to drop down. And again, I'll tell you about that in just a second. But if we do manage to get above it, then it's kind of like the same kind of key ideas I've been discussing with you before, which is very simply that we've been in a downtrend for quite some time now, and we haven't really gotten above our previous highs with any real conviction. We did have this high and then we got above it, which was a good sign, but it didn't seem to do much for the market. It looks like we need to get above some of these more kind of macro longer term levels. And so that's kind of where the market looks like it's taking itself. And if that is the case, then we do need to get above this line with some conviction, and more importantly, above some of these highs, like at $65,000. Now, the other thing is this interesting rectangle box, because this rectangle box represents basically the midpoint of this entire range that Bitcoin's trading in from here up to here. Roughly the middle is here, right? And you can move this box, you can move it up here, that would still be pretty valid, but I'm keeping it down here just for now. And I think that if Bitcoin is able to overcome this particular area, then, you can't really make any strong bearish arguments for Bitcoin anymore, at least in the short to midterm, because it means that we're no longer setting a series of lower highs. Now, we've already had one fake out here, so can we get another one? Yes, absolutely, but I don't think, you guys have heard my opinions on fake outs. When you get these kind of support levels here and you get the fake out, I'm not really expecting another one. I think that if you do drop, then that's it. You're going to go down for a long time. And on the flip side, if it's resistance and you've already gotten the rejection, I don't think that you're going to get a second one. I think that you're looking at some follow through there. So that's going to be something I'm definitely interested in. I think it's also going to open up some really nice trading opportunities. And obviously there are some phenomenal links to very useful exchanges in the description down below, which you should definitely be checking out. Bybit, with the link in the description below, will be giving you up to $30,000 in completely free trading capital, and you can use that capital for any trade that you like, and if you do generate any profits with it, that will be yours to keep. The updated description also has the Bybit card link, so if you want to get a Bybit card like I've been using for the last few months, it is absolutely amazing. You can just spend the money in your Bybit account in the real world. You can check that out. Obviously, we've got BingX with a no KYC alternative, and Tubit also well worth checking out with the link in the description below, giving you up to $9,000 in bonuses. So great exchanges for flexibility in this market, giving you a lot of free capital that you can deploy into the into the market. It is a free market as well, withdraw any of your profits there. So super cool setup here. Like I said, if we are able to get above some of these key levels, and I think crypto Bitcoin is going to be in a very good place in terms of kind of recovering from this, because it no longer means that we're really pointing down, and it's going to mean that tides have started to shift, and it's also going to mean that tides have started to shift after we've spent so long in the bottom half of this range, right? Previously, we spent a lot of time in the top half of this range, but lately, and by the way, since April, middle of April, it's been 30 days, we've been in the bottom half of this range, right? So if you do start to get these breakouts, you start trading up top again, that's going to be a really good sign that actually you've recovered a lot of what was going wrong in the market, and that's a very, very good sign, ladies and gents. That's definitely something which I think is important and worth paying attention to in this market. So I'm going to be looking at that very closely as well. As far as resistance goes, with this particular zone that I was showing you, we do have some daily EMA resistance. If we take a look at this very briefly, definitely something which I think is important. It is starting to expand. It doesn't have the spread that I want yet, right? I mean, look at this spread right here. You can clearly see each line. Over here, we don't quite have it, but despite not having it, no candle has ever been able to get above this EMA ribbon, since it became resistance. So, I mean, it's not been that long, but we haven't had anything getting above this EMA ribbon so far. So this could be an important thing, especially because it just lines up with this VPVR fixed range point of control, and also we've also got, just a horizontal level that we already know about, right? So there's a lot of confluence here, a lot of things pointing in the same direction that this is an important level. And I guess the problem, the bearish side of this, is that if Bitcoin can't get above this level, and it's already gotten a rejection here, if we zoom in onto the minute, you can see that big spike happening over there, and now a drop coming in, potentially taking it back to the downside here as a swing failure pattern. I mean, that is just, again, the same kind of thing that we've already seen happening here 3 times, and you saw how that happened on this chart right here, right? We just couldn't get above it. We're kind of doing the same thing now. So it's definitely a bullish sign that we're attacking this level again. And if you're bullish, then you're going to like this, because that could be an indication that things go up. But if you're like me and resistance is resistance and support is support, and so this is where bounces happen and this is where rejections happen, then you're not going to be that optimistic. And I'm personally not. I don't really care. Ultimately, I'm still in my long position. So if it goes up, I make money. And if it goes down, I'll make way more money, because it will go up much more afterwards, I think. So I'm definitely happy either way. But if we do start to see this thing come back down, then I think we are in a problem, because the key level I was actually talking to you guys about on this channel quite a bit recently was this $60,000 low right here, and I was saying that if we manage to sweep it, we're going to be in deep shit for Bitcoin, basically, and that's exactly what happened. But we just stopped right here and we continued back up. So thankfully that crisis was averted, but I'm still not optimistic about this level. I think that if we do get back below this low or this low, it doesn't really matter. They're both basically at the same price level. But if we do get back below basically this yellow box, which remains unchanged, we didn't actually get below the yellow box, by the way. way. The red box was the key danger zone I was talking about. If we do get into this zone, I just think it's lights out. I can't see anything bullish happening for Bitcoin for a little bit of time, and that would actually be a pretty good thing. It would allow Bitcoin to retrace by a nice amount as well. We'd probably end up coming back down to the $52,000 price area, which I think would be pretty acceptable for Bitcoin. This is also happening against the backdrop of a pretty bullish S&P 500. We didn't really use resistance for resistance. We are using the all-time high for resistance right now. So, that's something we can continue to keep an eye out for a little bit as well. But yeah, we'll just watch this, and see what happens. If it does end up continuing to drop down or starting a drop down, then I think that would probably be a little bit nasty for Bitcoin. But if not, until and unless that happens, it's still on a nice uptrend. I certainly think that, we are overdue for a correction, but I don't want to keep on calling for it. But if it does end up coming in, then I think that that's going to be it for Bitcoin. I just can't see Bitcoin being bullish in an environment where we have a weak S&P 500, especially because Bitcoin hasn't been bullish in an environment where we have a strong S&P 500, right? So if it's not bullish when we have a strong environment, I can't expect it to be bullish in a weak environment. That's just how I feel about the market. So I'm going to be watching this quite closely to see, if we are able to hold on to this key $60,000 price range. And if we're not, I'm probably going to be expecting that we see significantly lower price levels. And if we do zoom out on this chart again, just to recap what that would look like, to me, this means $52,000 as a first target, 44K as a second and final target. I would love to see lower than that, but I don't necessarily know if we actually will. And obviously, again, these all just present really, really nice trading opportunities, which I'd be very, very keen on capitalizing on, especially because it also means lower altcoin prices as well, right? So there's going to be a lot of opportunity there. We've already started to see Bitcoin's dominance rise up a little bit. These are great signs for the long-term health of the market. So the more we get that, the more easy the money will be made on the other side, I think. And that's definitely something which I'm interested in, because I'm not here to make my life difficult when I am trading these markets. So a very, very clear setup here, actually. Very, very nice floor, very, very nice resistance. Super obvious what's going to happen if we get above certain levels, I think. The other thing that's worth pointing out is that there were a lot of liquidation starting to come in on these wicks. There were also a few on this wick right here. I was actually just talking about that with Mike on the Fin Summit channel. And so if we are able to kind of get above this range, basically this box, this line that I had drawn for you in one of my previous videos, if we are able to get above this line, then I think that could actually trigger a big short squeeze. A lot of people who went short over here, who went short anywhere around here, they're going to have their stop losses right here, right? And so there's probably going to be a big squeeze where those positions start closing, because as we already know, and if you don't know, this is totally okay. It's actually quite advanced and it's not necessary to know. But when you have a situation where you've seen the price, where you've got a lot of shorts, when you see the price starting to rise up, those shorts are going to have to close. They're going to have to cover those shorts, right? And what that means is you're going to have to buy back your position. It's the same when you go long. When you go long and the price drops, you need to cover your long. You need to close your long. And the only way to close a position where you've actively bought something is by selling it, right? And the effect that has is when you start closing the position, and if you're selling it, you're going to drop the price even lower. Or in this case, if your stop losses are here and you need to close a position where you've gone short, then you're going to have to buy the asset back. And that's where you start to see these rises coming in here. So, that's going to be something which I think is worth paying attention to and just keeping an eye out on, in this market right now. So, very, very interesting stuff, because if that does end up happening, then I think a big rise could be coming. These kind of short squeezes can be pretty strong. They can be pretty heavy. And I think it would also very confidently put Bitcoin above, some of these ranges here. So I think this is also, largely going to depend on traditional finance. As usual, I don't think that's anything different to what we expect. And so, you got to hope for a bit of optimism there, because if we don't have it, then, things could be a little bit difficult. But if we do get it, then we're in a pretty good spot. By the way, just while I'm live on stream with you all, how do you feel if I move me over here? Let me know in the live chat. How does this look for you guys? Do you prefer it this way? I think some people will like it more because, the more recent price action is here, so you actually want this green real estate, but this feels so unnatural for me. But let me know what you think with the comment section below. There's some really exciting content that I'm going to be bringing you guys soon. Some beginner tiered content that I want to make soon as well. If that's not for you, forgive me in advance and just ignore it. There's there's going to be some content I'm going to be making to kind of attract some new audiences, but nothing like this analysis is going to change. Like, it's not going to change. It's not going to become less frequent or anything like that. We're going to keep it all the same. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit more in a couple different directions, some more beginner stuff. So there you go. Thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed this one, you know exactly what to do. Hit up the like, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that beautiful stuff. And if you want to gain access to these phenomenal offers, get your Bybit card, absolutely sick, up to 30k in cash bonuses. You can trade with that capital. By the way, you can trade alts buying and selling for free. That is absolutely amazing. And if you want to trade on a no KYC platform, check out 2bit with the link below. This is a pretty cool one, which is well worth looking into. Again, no KYC here, and they're giving you up to 9k in trading bonuses, which again you can trade with. So if you want to get any of these bonuses, you've got to start trading using these links. Super cool. All right, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.